Greetings, Earthlings. What's happening? My name is Sumed, Dr. Scripts from IMC Nation. Sumed Chatterjee. I'm a flow state specialist. Let's get started today. I wanted to give my 2 cents on this equation about past lives, okay? Past life regression, flash forwards. We're going to be talking about some esoteric shit today, man. So definitely, get strapped in. We're going to explore the ether for some answers to this thing. First of all, I'm a mystic scientist. When I'm exploring these different works, I am by no means the past life guy. This is my own experience and perspective, okay? You can find other videos and have their own perspective. A lot of these are a conglomeration of ideas from Dr. Raymond Moody and my own ideas, and a mix of things that I've heard and seen and experienced. So as Flow Jedis, I know inherently we have this thing that pulls us forward towards studying past lives to try and understand our present lives and our future lives, right? It's like we want to make sense of things as human beings, and so past lives is an interesting concept. But my perspective is this, first to start off with, before we start delving into this topic. Number one, stop using past lives as a way to perpetuate your victim story in the present life. No matter what bad thing happened to you in the past or your past karma, stop using it as a crutch. Stop using it as a cop-out. Stop using it as a thing that's preventing you from already succeeding. There are ways to eliminate bad karma from the past. There are ways to move forward. But you can't keep using that as an excuse all the time. From you taking action, from you being proactive and taking the right life choices. So don't let your past life distract you from your current beingness, from your task at hand. Don't let your past life take away your flow state. This was the message today that I wanted to emanate into the cosmos. Because way too many of us are living trapped in some past paradigm, whereas we could be embracing the us now. But it's like the us now has the same problems of the past us. So we've got to completely rearrange, distort this identity. Become whole, become new, become complete. I think it's very difficult for a lot of seekers or intuitives or empaths, whatever you want to label yourself as, right? Starseeds, to perceive the data of the past life that's happening without attaching emotion to it, right? Because it can be very emotional if you're, go to your past life, you're an old woman, you're lonely. Hey, that's gonna hit you, right? And if you go to a past life in ancient Egypt and you're like, you're just carrying stones or something, and you realize that you need that grit and resilience to just get on another day, and you just need some water, right? Those emotions are there, but then there's the datums. You want to be able to perceive the information and collect the data without being emotionally involved, because then you're going to get caught up in the past storylines. This is why we don't have memory of our past lives, why we have past life amnesia, because it would just distract us from the now. You see what I'm saying? But then there are, let's just call them, I don't know what to call them, man. Dimensional hoppers, travelers, okay, rememberers, some people call them. There's certain people who can recall their past lives, okay? Whether I think this is true or whether I think that, past life regression is your own subconscious mind coming through, I don't know, okay? I haven't gone that far down the rabbit hole to look at this thing. I know there's very minimal science associated with it. Connecting with a past life, you're matching a fragment of the past with you. Because doesn't that make more sense? You have a life somewhere else from this physical soul that's passed on to this life, right? Some past experience that is formulated, and now you're getting a memory, or you're getting a deja vu moment, or you're getting some kind of a flashback. That's the thing. We don't have to remember our past lives. We don't have to remember it. It's just a nice tool to have, right? Like to be able to go there. And past life regression is a great way to do it. If you want to book it in with me, go for it. If you want to book it in with anybody else, just try it out, you know? Try it out, go on Fiverr, try it out, okay? You have to be able to get out of your own ego. That's how you see past lives. What I mean by that is not necessarily like crush your identity. What I mean by that is try and seeing yourself from other people's perspective, okay? How a random old man across the street perceives you, right? As opposed to somebody who knows you perceives you. Everybody has their own storyline version of you that is influencing you, because it's the idea of the looking glass self, or heterosuggestions. When we hold the impression of someone for so long, it starts to imprint into them. So how do we stop that, right? You're wondering. We can't take it as seriously, because when we take it as seriously, we're saying that this is a part of my belief. This is something that is really important to me. It's significant to my life. So you can't give it that much gravitas in your own mind. You get what I'm saying? The seriousness of how you're taking that is formulating deeper into your belief systems. You gotta just treat it like a joke. Okay? What other people think of you. Just treat it like a joke. Huh, that's cool. Okay, whatever. That's their perspective. That's their opinion. And this is tough to do. You need mental toughness on the spiritual journey. I keep saying this. You can't transverse this rabbit hole with a weak mind. You're gonna get eaten up alive by different entities and things like this, okay? You're gonna fall into an abyss, an endless abyss, if you don't have the proper spiritual structure. You know, when you get a pull towards doing certain things or having specific interests or experiences, or maybe certain smells call out to you or certain visuals call out to you in your mind, this is all your subconscious mind, which is connected to the collective unconscious. Everybody's subconscious, basically, unconscious. Well, they're used interchangeably, right? Depending on who you follow, man. You know, if you're Freudian, you go for it. So this locus of conscious identity of the perceiver of yourself moves on, and this entity passes on its life story in a sense. Let me give you an understanding. What if you had to walk into a movie theater and you had a choice of watching 100 movies in a row, right? Would you have all comedies, or would you have some tragedy in there? So that's the kind of justification. Like, if you were really like in the movie Soul, like the Disney movie Soul, right, where there's reincarnation, there's probably a conscious process to happen for you to pick who you are or what you're doing right now, right? There's probably a bigger reasoning. But then you ask yourself, that's ridiculous. Why would I put myself into the pain of my own trauma? The reason I resonate with past lives also is that the Greek philosophers spoke about this stuff. Okay, I'm not just talking out of nonsense and thin air. Plato had suggested there were other realms. The philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras recalled 8 of his past lives. He passed that technology on to his students to, what did they do? They woke up the next day and had to retrace the steps of the day before. Then they wake up again and they do it for 2 days before. And the process continues. So what they're really doing is they're training their memory. They're training their memory to augment their next lives. So now when they're in their next life, they have such a sharp memory that they come into this collection with, that was their idea or their concept, right? That you can now be able to look into the past because you have that skill set of past exploration or past memory recall. A lot of past life regressions will take you towards this visualization of this place called the blue mist, okay? Which is basically just another doorway into your unconscious mind, right? Doorway into something. And then from there, we take a timeline back, or we zoom out, okay, into this place where it's basically nothingness. The same thing with quantum healing, the same thing with any other type of, this level of healing. And yes, there are nuances to it, of course, but start to understand that this empty place in your mind that's configured can be naturally created. And it's my belief that Man, I hope I don't get copyright stricken for this random song that they're playing. You know how you say that there is self-hypnosis? I think there is self-past life regression in a sense, okay? Or you can actually put yourself into that theta state. Interestingly enough, you know, the theta state is also like people with ADHD have the same brains as billionaires, okay? You gotta understand these things, okay? They're more in a theta state. They're more in a subconscious state. They can access flow, but then they have other parts of their brain that are also ideal, like for decision making and, you know, all these other things. So shout out to Todd, I believe your name is Todd Smith, right? Shout out to Todd Smith for that information. So a lot of people think that past life, going into the past life, is very happy and la la la. Oh, I'll be Cleopatra. Oh my gosh, right? But actually, you start to realize the sad fact that a lot of people have very average lives, okay? Very pathetic, sad, average lives. So when you're going into past life and you're in a carriage somewhere and you're feeling kind of sad, you're gonna understand why, okay? Now, sometimes we do have spectacular past lives. I'm not denying that, right? For sure. You might have done some amazing things, and that's what calls you towards this present, to remember those great hidden gifts that you might have had. Like, how can you naturally learn this language so fast? Or how can you be so drawn to playing a clarinet when nobody told you to do it? Like, your parents didn't force you into it, right? Like, there's certain pulls towards certain specific interests that we have. And so we use past lives as a way to justify those interests or those natural inclinations towards things, right? It could be genetics mixed in there with the past lives, right? Influencing your genes in the present, right? The past ancestral genes and DNA affecting yours, yes. Yes, we can't deny that. But you might be a different age, different gender, different occupation, different location, different everything. And that shakes you out of your current state of mind, or your ego. And from here, you can fine-tune it. You can fine-tune it. You know, a lot of people, let's say they're going through a financial crisis, or they're going through a heartbreak. Oftentimes, before hopping into past life regression, why don't you look at yourself when you were younger and follow the thread of the shadow? You get what I'm saying? Like, why not do the inner child work before you do the past life stuff? Because that stuff is more relevant to you in this physical avatar incarnation of you, right? For a lot of my mystical friends, what they experience sometimes when they're recalling past lives is they see a specific symbol, or they suddenly get really tired and they get induced into a trance, almost like, you know, like MK Ultra, right? Like that. Like you see a symbol or like something that reminds you of that, right? Like a PTSD type thing, induces some kind of a trance within, and it takes you on this guided visualization where you were there, okay? Or you were in the past, or you're experiencing something like that. Or maybe you're seeing fragments or flashes of it in one of your dreams or something like this, right? I think that's cool that you had a vision, but how do you use it? How is it effective to your strategy as a shaman to this day? You see? And I'm referring to all of you as shamans because you all have a specific way to tap into these other realms through your flow state, through your own capacity for awareness and expansion and your consciousness to raise, so you can have more of this life experience. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed this video today. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, give me that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping the next video. I'm posting every day. So if you're a real Flow Jedi, you want to hit that notification bell. That's what all the cool kids are doing on this channel. If you're not cool, that's fine too. Get the fuck out of here, okay? Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's go.